Welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs in Fuego. We're documenting the journey of amazing entrepreneurs. My new best friends. Let's start right here. Rebeca, Lopez. How are you?
Not bad.
Not bad. And Lindsey, Steele.
Pleasure to meet you.
You folks are with MILESTONE Pediatrics, milestoneaz.com.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about, maybe we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about what you folks do.
So we provide support services for children and adults with disabilities. We do a caregiving service in home.
Okay.
And then we have a speech therapy and occupational therapy clinic in Chandler, and we do home therapy as well.
Do you focus more on adults or children?
We only focus on children.
Just okay. So just on children.
Yes.
What defines a child? What defines disability? Let's define it. What does it mean to be disabled?
There's a few disabilities that can qualify for our services, and one is Down syndrome. There's also autism, a cognitive disability, as well as CP, cerebral palsy.
Cerebral palsy. Deafness, is that a disability as well? Blindness, is that a disability?
They are disabilities, but not one that qualifies them for our services. There's different support services for them, but they don't qualify for ours.
You know, it's interesting because in looking at the statistics, right, there's about 54 million kids between the ages of 5 and 12. That's your wheelhouse, right? Mm-hmm. In school.
Yes.
And about 5% of those have disabilities, mm-hmm. have some form of disability. That is a lot. Mm-hmm. That is a lot of children. Is this something that is treated adequately, or it's something that is just misdiagnosed sometimes? What's happening in the industry?
You know, there may be some misdiagnosis, but I also think that a lot of kids are receiving the proper diagnosis so that they can get these additional support services that they need. There's a lot of families that don't realize that there are state-funded services like ours that can help them. And so the parents feel really lost and, not really sure. So I do think, we see, especially with autism, that it is on the rise, but we're also seeing just an increase in the number of kids who truly have that diagnosis.
Why is autism on the rise? Any connections? Any studies?
It's a great question. It's a great question.
Or let me ask it this other way: was autism always there, and now it's just being diagnosed as autism? Or are we putting more kids in that autism box?
Well, an autism is a spectrum disorder. You have some high functioning, low functioning, and it's a spectrum disorder.
Right.
So I think a few years ago, everyone got diagnosed with just autism, and it may have just been Asperger's or something else, and it's a spectrum disorder. So now they're, receiving the proper diagnosis within that. I don't remember ever hearing autism when I was a child. I don't ever remember knowing anybody with it, nothing.
Right.
So I think that it wasn't as diagnosed back then. There probably is something in the water, or something where it is, we're seeing more instances of it.
We're seeing more instances of it. Now, when I was growing up, right, we had the kid, the cousin, that was the more active child. And we would just say, he's just active. Mm-hmm. He just likes to run around. But now, as we've progressed, we've kind of started labeling that activity or that extra hyper kid with some type of, even some disability or some type of label. Oh, he's got ADD, or he's got something, and then we start medicating those kids. Mm-hmm. Do you see a lot of that?
Not necessarily a lot of children are medicated. We see more of the therapy side, so they do go to our clinic for maybe to use our therapy supplies, maybe work on sensory activities, things like that we do, which obviously is not a medication, which does help them quite a bit.
Is medication part of the therapy?
No, it's absolutely
not at all.
That's phenomenal, right? I mean, because that's one of the things that
Sure.
I remember in my own flesh and blood, my own kid. My kid was a little bit hyperactive, and I'm like, he's a kid. He's just running around. And then immediately somebody wanted to give him some type of pill to kind of calm him down. I'm like, no, he ain't taking nothing. He's going to be all right. But we tend to medicate a lot of our problems, don't we?
And I think that goes back to the proper diagnosis. So we have an occupational therapy clinic, we have swings and all these sensory things that can help kids. So maybe they're running around because they need some sensory input. They come to our clinic, they're able to swing on our swing, sit on our bean bags, be squished in all these different materials that we have, and then they calm down. So they don't necessarily need that medication, they just need the proper therapy. And our clinic, or even at home, they can do that through occupational therapy.
These ladies have won like 20 million awards, right? I mean, you've been recognized not only locally but nationally as well for the work that you're doing. What is it that you're doing well that others are not doing? Why are you getting all these accolades? What makes you different?
First of all, we have a play-based approach to our therapy clinic, so a lot of parents like that. We don't medicate the children.
Right.
And also, we actually volunteer in Mexico. We take supplies down there to the children. I do presentations down there, and I basically just load up my car with therapy materials and I go. And
As simple as that.
Yep,
Just go.
That's it. Get my passport, put my toys in my car, and I'm
Go.
out.
And that charitable aspect of it comes back to you.
Yes, and I'm also on the board of Sharing Down Syndrome Arizona, and I also run their Hispanic support group. So we have monthly meetings for parents, and we just have different activities, games, education, things like that for the families.
That's cool. Now let's kind of focus a little bit on the entrepreneurial side of the business, right? What you're doing is phenomenal. Your challenge as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, what is it?
When you have a business partner, it's almost like a marriage.
It is like a marriage.
You have to work really hard together, and we've gone through, I don't even say ups and downs, but we've gone through different trials, and we have to figure out how to make that work. And we've just expanded exponentially, and so I've recently given up my office for additional treatment room, and we decided her and I can't share an office. It's like a marriage. You can't, work closely together. We divide and conquer. We excel in two different areas, and we just allow each other to, excel where they excel.
What is the secret of a successful partnership?
It has to be communication. If you don't have communication, you have nothing.
So you can't just assume what is in her brain.
We've tried it and it doesn't work.
So you kind of have to, hey, this is what's in my mind. This is what's bothering me, or this is what's, can you help me here, please?
And we've done well with I want to talk to you about this. This isn't working well for me. And, you have to give a little, take a little. Sometimes you take one for the team. Sometimes you have to give in a little bit, just like in a marriage. And it really, really works.
We had and I'm going to send you a link to a radio show. We talked about why business partnerships fail. And we talked a full entire hour about why they fail and also why they succeed. And yes, communication probably was one of the first and main reasons why partnerships, because you just don't communicate. You don't provide your expectations. Hey, this is what I'm expecting from you. This is what I'm expecting from you. Let's go. And so that's very interesting. And so your challenge moving into the future, what is what you see for your business? What do you see as your biggest challenge going forward?
Well, right now we're actually in the process of opening up a new clinic. April 1st. We're going to make this huge sensory gym for the kids.
April 1st, 2017, so that people know we're in the last days of 2016.
Yes.
Once it's gone, it's gone. Se va, se muere, y está, ya se fue.
It's about a 3,000 square foot building, and we're going to make, like I said, a sensory gym in the back. Also try to open it up to the public, and as well as have group therapy sessions there for the children. So one of our biggest hurdles for that is basically being able to get the right therapy materials, making it nice, presentable, and also functional.
That is a challenge. And April 2017, correct?
Yes.
Your biggest reward in this partnership and this journey that you've had so far?
I think our business is really successful in many different ways. I feel like we've reached a lot of families. We have employees that have started with us on day one that are still employed with us today. We have families that started with us on day one that are still with us today.
When was day one? How long ago?
We started our business in 2007, 2007 and started seeing families in around 2011. And some of those same families are still with us today, and offering them additional services and knowing that they have changed from that, first day that we saw them, that they're making progress. The people are happy to work for us. We're happy to go into the office every day. So I feel like we are, successful.
The best reward has to be when you see a small life change.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It is.
From that individual, that little person that came in that had seemingly all these dysfunctions, if you will, and after your therapies and your attention, they come out an entirely different person.
It's like the child you described running around, who's no longer running
Yes.
around anymore. The child who wasn't speaking is now communicating with his family. It's huge.
Yeah, that child that was running around. Yeah, he's now in Denver. He's my son, and he doesn't call enough. So now I'm going to have to kind of figure out how to cure
We'll
that.
talk to him.
Well, you guys, you'll talk to him.
Yes.
My pleasure. Have
Likewise.
a beautiful new year. Best
too.
of luck.
Thank you.
We could be here the entire day, man, because you guys fascinate me. And what you're doing, really changing lives, one little life at a time, is really, really phenomenal.
Thank you.
You're going to do something for me, the three of us. We're going to say we're out on three, okay? 1, 2, 3.
We're out.